pictures, and therefore this resulted to the postponement of that particular election of that particular seat. But we'll be going back to Saada Hassan once she goes to the county tallying center, and we'll be going equally back to Grace Nganga. Remember, earlier on, we spoke to George Maringa, and he did mention that there was no activity yet. So we will find out if the activity has picked up. But that is the latest that we're receiving from now. Let's not forget that Mombasa County was not the only county that experienced challenges. We equally had challenges in Kakamega County. Remember the Kims issue. IEBC used manual register in around, I think, 200 polling stations in general, and Kakamega County was one of the county that was affected. We want to go to the Nav Center, that is the Bomas of Kenya, where I understand David Mudoka is coming to us live. David, talk to us about the process. Has it started? Earlier on with Rita, there was not much activity.
Morning, Ashley, and indeed after a long day of voting yesterday, for the better part of last night, and indeed for the better part of the day, and something that could even go on for the rest of the week, tallying has been going on at various tallying centers, and of course we have tallying centers at 3 levels. That is at the constituency level, and then at the county level, and at the national level. And of course this is the Nav Center where the presidential election tallying center is, and that is right here at the Bomas of Kenya. And of course it has been a long night, one that from one way looking at it has been busy, and in another way has been an idle night. But just to look at how things have been faring on here at the Bomas of Kenya, we have seen, especially in terms of results transmission, we have seen the transmission of Form 34As. Remember, these are results, or other forms from the over 46,000 polling stations streaming and be projected on the monitors right here at the Bomas of Kenya. And as it stands, around slightly over 42,500 Form 34As have already been transmitted. Remember, we have around 46,000 polling stations, and that is roughly 91% of all polling stations have transmitted their pollings, or rather their Form 34As. And so again, looking at it from a different perspective, the Form 34Bs, these are the forms that come from the constituencies. Remember, we have around 290 constituencies, and these forms that contain results of presidential candidates, the 4 of them, including Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga, UDA presidential candidate Deputy President William Ruto, Roots Party presidential candidate George Wajakoya, and Agano Party leader, who is also the presidential candidate David More Wahiga, be transmitted. And so this particular transmission of the Form 34As through the entire night is definitely expected to set the tone for the transmission of the Form 34Bs from the various constituencies that we have. Remember, we have 290 constituencies, and then the IEBC will be able to come up with a Form 34C, which is the form containing results at a national level from this Form 34Bs. And so we expect a number to start streaming in. As it stands, only one from one constituency has arrived, and that is around 0.34% of all forms that are expected here for the IEBC. And actually the returning officer for the presidential election, IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati, to come up with a Form 34C and be able also to tally and announce the winner in this presidential election. And so we are pitching camp here, monitoring and waiting to see how these monitors right here at the Nav Center change, and definitely any slight change, any minor change, we'll be here to update you and our viewer. And so right now, Ashley and our viewer would like to cross over to Kasarani, where my colleague Grace Nganga has pitched camp the entire morning, so that we can see how things have been faring on, especially at the County Tallying Center for Nairobi City County number 047.
Thank you, David. And just as you said, we are here at Kasarani, which is the main Nairobi County tallying center. My colleague George Maringa camped here throughout the night. Nothing pretty much was happening. Even the better part of the morning, nothing pretty much was happening. But currently, as you can see, the results from polling stations streamed in, and they were just being announced from the governor, senator, president, member of parliament. At least activities have gone up now, as you can see. Just trying to verify the information that they have gotten here. We have the representatives of candidates and political parties also here, just to ensure that they also take their statistics, and so that they can also have the accurate data. But as I said earlier, nothing pretty much was happening. Things are still a bit slow. We are going to be speaking to the returning officer any minute from now, just to tell us why the delays have been there since last night. Of course, talking to her earlier, she had said that the issue actually was from polling station. Some of them were a bit slow. That is why it took a bit longer for these particular results to come here at the tallying center at Kasarani. But just a while ago, they were of course announcing results of various positions. As I said, mostly the woman rep, some results from the woman rep. They had been announced from some polling stations, for example, in Mirema, and also some other parts of Kasarani as well. But like I said, we are here standing by the on my left. These are some representatives from the polling stations. We have seen some of the aspirants, members of parliament, are also here with their representatives, just to ensure that they have the statistics at their end. And on my far right there, as you can see, those ballot boxes, those are some of the papers that just got in from different parts of Nairobi. They're the ones that after verification they've been put there, and then after that they are later announced. So as I said, things are pretty much moving slow here, but we are here standing by. Remember, Nairobi County has more than 2 million voters, and this is one of the counties that most of the candidates were actually pinching camp during their campaigns, just to ensure they garner as many votes as they possibly can from the 2 million votes. But very probably that is mainly what is happening here. But we're also here and we'll keep to tabs with whatever that is going to arise from this. Back to you in studio.
All right, thank you very much, Grace Nganga, for that update. Of course, as you continue pitching camp, we'll be coming back to you the moment you get more details so that we can inform our viewers. But from Nairobi County, let's head to Kisii County, where Robinson Okenya is and now joins us live. Robbie, good morning. Of course, results delays in Nairobi and Mombasa. Returning officers are saying this is due to the delay in polling stations. Is it the same in Kisii?
Very good afternoon to you, Ashley Mazuri. Very cold here in Kisii, a very cold morning, as you can see. Some of the presiding officers and their clerks from different polling stations just coming in to the Kisii High School. That is where the county tallying center is, and at the moment all the different polling stations and presiding officers and their clerks just coming in. A few minutes ago, probably 20 minutes ago, we spoke to the deputy returning officer, asking her, how many polling stations have they dealt with so far, and she said that at the moment only 10. Remember, Kisii as a county has more than 1,000 polling stations, so we are waiting to see how this exercise pans out. It might be a very long day that we are going to pitch camp here and see who comes out as the winner. But remember, from yesterday we visited different polling stations in the morning, and things were running well, and in the afternoon most polling stations by 5 were closed as per the regulations, and probably the vote tallying, that is what took some little bit of time, and that is why the presiding officers and the clerks and of course their officers are getting here at the moment. But remember, Ashley, one of the key things to look out for here in Kisii County is the gubernatorial race. That is the race to take over from James Ongwae, who's the outgoing governor, and we have that race tightly, as people say, between ODMs, that is Simba Arati, and Machogu from UDA. That is one of the key areas where people will be looking at, aside from the presidential results from this region. Also remember, when you talk about the parties, ODM was the party that was in charge. That is James Ongwae comes from ODM, as well as the senator, that is Sam Ongeri, who at the moment is also vying for the governor's seat, but we will be waiting to see how that goes. And aside from that, we are here, Kisii High School is in Nyaribari Chache constituency. Remember, Kisii County has 9 constituencies. Nyaribari Chache, where we are at the moment, is we also have some of the provisional results that we've seen from the agents. We are waiting to see from, of course, the county tallying center how that is. But from the agents, some of the provisional results that we got is that we have Zahir Janda at the moment with 16,900 votes, while the incumbent, that is Richard Tongi, with 3,900 votes. But those are just provisional. We'll be waiting to see how that goes. But from here, Ashley, of course, we'll be moving to Nyamira County, the neighboring county, and we'll get to see what is happening over there, and we'll be coming back to you to see probably if the progress on the other side is a bit pacier than what is happening here in Kisii County. Ashley.
Thank you very much, Robinson Okenya, for that. From Kisii County, let's head to Kisumu County, where Brenda Zeda-Radido now joins us live. Brenda, where exactly are you? What is the progress of the tallying?
Good morning, Ashley, and I'm at Kisumu Poly, and what is happening right now, it is that the presiding officers of Kisumu Central constituency are returning back the electoral materials. I'm talking about the ballot boxes that are holding different positions, that is of the senatorial, the woman rep, the senatorial, woman rep, MCA, presidential, and also the gubernatorial seats. And so right here, when they're bringing back these ballot boxes that hold the results of different political seats, they're handing over to the returning officer of this constituency, that is Kisumu Central. Actually, it's been a slow process of the returning of these ballot boxes, in short, the electoral materials. It was a slow process of election counting of the votes that were cast, but it seems like by the close of today, Kisumu residents of Kisumu County, residents of Kisumu Central, will be knowing who the leaders are. But actually, when I look at the reported forms of Form 34As, so far, out of the 1,170 Form 34As, 1,120 Form 34As have been returned. And Kisumu Central is one of the polling stations that has the highest numbers of polling centers. It has 222, but so far, Ashley, 220 polling centers have actually here at the Kisumu Poly to return the electoral materials. Then we have Kisumu East, which has returned 141 out of 158 electoral materials, followed by Kisumu West, which has so far returned 159 of the electoral materials out of the 163 electoral materials that were in the hands of the presiding officers. Then Muhoroni has returned 161 out of the 165, Nyakach 158 out of 166 polling materials that were given to the presiding officers. Nyando has returned 158 out of the 166, while Seme, where Professor Peter Nyang' Nyong'o, the incumbent of Kisumu County, has returned 123 out of the 130. But then, Ashley, let me just give you a breakdown of Kisumu Central, one of the biggest polling centers here in Kisumu County. We are seeing that out of the 6 polling centers, only Kondele has returned 100% of all the electoral materials that they were given, and Milimani is remaining with one of the ballot boxes, and of course Migosi has also returned all the electoral materials. Nyalenda B has also returned, Railways has also returned, and Shaurimoyo Kaleleni has also returned. And when I look at Kisumu Central, still the Jomo Kenyatta Sports Ground, one of the biggest polling stations, has has only one pending stream that is yet to return its electoral materials. And at that polling station, of the polling center of Jomo Kenyatta Sports Ground, Raila Odinga is leading in that polling at the Kisumu Sports Center with 335 votes, followed by Deputy President William Ruto of Kenya Kwanza, who has 163,000, and Wajakoya of the Roots Party has 63 votes that were cast there, and we have David Maure of Agano Party managed to garner 10 votes. Ashley, it is when it comes to the gubernatorial seat, I'm seeing Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, who's the incumbent governor, still leading leading when it comes to the votes that were cast at the Jomo Kenyatta Sports Ground. So we wait and see as to how the numbers will also play out for the ODM party, based on the fact that majority of the candidates were vying for different political seats, were independent candidates. You also have an MDG of Ugenya Member of Parliament David Ochieng fielding more candidates here in Kisumu County. We're also waiting to see whether Raila Odinga's sister Ruth Odinga, whether she has managed to clinch that seat of the woman rep, because the closest political rival, it was actually it's Valentine Ochieng rather, of the MDG party. We also want to wait and see whether Ouda will carry the day when it comes to Kisumu Central, or Ron, who is vying through the ODM party ticket, will clinch this seat. But so far, the information that we have, I can confirm to you, Ashley, it is that Oron, who is carrying the ODM flag, out of the so far votes that we got, we managed to get from the presiding officers during the vote counting in different polling stations, Ron was the one who was leading. And so, Ashley, of course it's still going to be a long day for residents of Kisumu County, Kisumu Central, as they wait and see who's going to be carrying the day when it comes to this different political seats. But then let me not forget about the gubernatorial, Ashley, because so far Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o is leading on when it comes to the number of votes that have so far been counted, then followed, of course, his closest rival. There were only two candidates for this gubernatorial seat. That is the former governor of Kisumu County, Jack Ranguma. And as you can, Ashley, these are just all the ballot boxes that are carrying electoral materials. They're now being returned. They're being handed over to the returning officer of this constituency. So we'll continue giving you more updates, Ashley, when it comes to Kisumu Central constituency, when it comes to Nyando constituency, Kisumu East constituency, when it comes to the results that will be tallied and are finally confirmed by the returning officer. And also, Ashley, I mean, life is slowly returning here in Kisumu County, because yesterday it was business as usual, as because all the business premises were closed, so as to allow voters, registered voters, to cast their ballots. And 606,754 are the number of registered voters here in Kisumu County. And of course, for us, we'll continue keeping a close, a keen eye, and our ears are on the ground, so as to keep our viewers updated when it comes to the numbers that are playing out here in Kisumu County. Ashley, in case you have any questions, but it's back to you.
All right, Brenda, stay with me. Of course, yesterday morning you did mention that the residents of Kisumu didn't even sleep as they were excited. Was it the same last night?
Night, Ashley, what I can confirm to you, once the voters had casted their ballots, most of them were still hanging around the polling stations, and they were claiming that, we are guarding our votes. But then security officers told them, you know what, you've done your part, you've exercised your democratic right, you need to go home and wait for the results. But then along the streets of Kisumu County and outside some of the polling stations, like the one in Kondele, in Nyalenda, at Kisumu CBD that played host to the Jomo Kenyatta Sports Ground and also Aga Khan Hall. So many supporters were outside there blowing the vuvuzelas, just as a way of trying to keep the momentum, the momentum going, so that they can, that assurance of, everything is going to go well. But then when it reached at around 11 p.m., before I handed over to my colleague Willie Lusige, it just, life in Kisumu just came to, if I may say, at a standstill. It was quiet. Noise was not there in terms of the vuvuzelas, in terms of the motorbike operators hooting. And so even today, it is still the same. I think it's because they're patiently waiting to see who will carry the day specifically for the presidential seat, because Nyanza region, specifically the Luo Nyanza region, has always been termed and seen as a stronghold for, Azimio la Umoja Wana Kenya coalition presidential candidate Raila Odinga, who is also the party leader of ODM party, or whether it will be the deputy president William Ruto of Kenya Kwanza, who is neck to neck as so far as we can see from the results that have been streaming in from different parts of the country. And so, Ashley, no incident has been reported as we speak. Residents are calm, just waiting for the results, and also they want to know who will be the next governor. Will it be Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o? Will he serve the second term, or will it be the former governor of Kisumu County, that is Jack Ranguma?
Thank you very much, Brenda Zedaradido, for that. Of course, we'll be coming back to you a bit later. But Kisumu seems to be doing better than the rest of the country when it comes to the tallying process. So what do we know so far? We do know that tallying is underway. We've seen delay of results in counties such as Mombasa, Nairobi, and the returning officers are saying this is due to the fact that a number of results were delayed at the polling station. Of course, we've talked to our reporters, Saada Hassan, Grace Nganga, and equally Robinson Okenye, who was coming to us live from Kisii. And he did mention that particularly in Kisii, they only got results from 10 polling stations out of the around 1,000 polling stations in that particular area. So that's in terms of tallying. We do know that the Form 34As are being scanned, uploaded to the IEBC portal. So far, around 91% of those forms have been uploaded. Less than 5,000 to go until that process is complete. But do note that those Form 34As that are being scanned right now need to be verified before it is official, of course, that this will be verified at the NAV Center. The transmitted images of the results of Form 34A against the original copy of the Form 34A. Equally, returning officers to start delivering forms. Of course, we've seen presiding officers queue at the county tallying centers where they're just going back with the results before the results are announced at the county level. And also, IEBC is confident of the final results to be announced within 7 days. Remember, the law does give IEBC up to 7 days to conclude the polls. That is the tallying of the results before it can declare president-elect. So this is what we know